Here's what you'll need to make your hat. A circular knitting loom, a pick, a yarn needle, some scissors, and some bulky yarn in the color of your choice. To start your hat, take your circular loom to the end of your yarn. Wrap the yarn around the end peg on the edge of the ring. Pull the yarn to the inside of the ring between the first and last pegs. The first peg is on the left, just above the edge peg. The last peg is to the right. Wrap the yarn to the far side of the peg, going completely around it and crossing it in the back. Repeat with the second peg. Keep the yarn loose. You don't want it to be too tight. Continue around until all pegs are wrapped with yarn. Once you have wrapped the yarn around each peg, slide the yarn toward the bottom of the pegs like this. Continue around until all the yarn has been pushed to the bottom of the pegs. Once you've pushed the yarn down to the bottom, take your yarn again and continue wrapping it around the tops of the pegs, like we did before, so that you have 2 rows of yarn. Continue wrapping around until all the pegs have been wrapped. Once you have finished wrapping the yarn around the tops of each of the pegs, take your yarn and wrap it around this end peg and make a half hitch so that the yarn doesn't fall off. Here's how to make a half hitch. Take your yarn and make a small loop. Turn the loop so that the end of the yarn coming from the ball is at the bottom, and the yarn coming from the ring is at the top. Place the loop over the end peg and pull tight. For the next step, you'll need your pick. Starting at the first peg on the top of the ring, use your pick to slide the yarn up and over the peg. Push the pick underneath and pull around. Continue around with each peg. Continue pushing the yarn down, wrapping the yarn, and pulling the yarn over with the pick. Once your knitting has reached your desired length, and cut the yarn, leaving a couple extra inches on the end. Now take the end of your yarn and cut about 18 inches. Now take your yarn needle and thread the yarn. Fold the yarn in half. Once you've threaded your yarn needle, grab your loom and take the yarn off of the outside peg. After that, take your yarn needle. Starting with the first peg, run the needle and yarn through the loops on each peg. Then lift the loops up and over and off the pegs. Pull the thread tight. Continue around until you've pulled off all the yarn on each peg. Once you've removed all the loops of yarn, take off the loom and pull the ends. Pull the thread tight and tie it off in a square knot. Be sure and cut the end so that the needle is on. If you want to, you can add a pom-pom onto the top of the hat. To do so, thread the yarn needle on one of the extra yarn pieces coming out of the top of the hat that you used to cinch the hat tight. Push the needle through the center of the pom-pom. puts it through. Remove your yarn needle, tie it off using the other string with the extra yarn, and tie off the top in a square knot. Any extra yarn that's too long, you can cut. And there you have